This is Saber 2. We are on the ground moving to secure LZ. How copy? Over.
Saber 2, this is Saber. Copy that. Be advised, fleet is inbound and will be within enemy EWF detection range imminently. You are tasked with eliminating the early warning radar systems ASAP. Fleet is closing to within strike radius of Sunburn missile launchers. Evasive action is not an option. We cannot scrub tomorrow's landing on Skira. How copy? Over.
Saber, this is Saber 2. Solid copy on all. We are Oscar Mike. Out. Okay, Marines. The target is a PLA radar array. We need to track it down and neutralize it before fleet shows up on their screen. Stay focused. Watch your spacing and keep your sectors covered. Let's move out.
Alright guys, welcome to Operation Flashpoint Dragon Rising. And I'll talk briefly about what this is. So, Dragon Rising, or Operation Flashpoint, a lot of you guys know the history behind Bohemia Interactive and Codemasters. Alright, so basically the original Operation Flashpoint was created, back in the day. And it was developed by Bohemia Interactive, and it was actually produced by Codemasters. So eventually there was a big lawsuit and there was a breakup, and Bohemia Interactive maintained rights to the source code for the engine and development of it, and they went on to produce Arma. So, and then Arma later released their own original Operation Flashpoint, which they renamed Arma Cold War Crisis, but it was the same game as Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis. Alright, so, and Codemasters retained the name for Operation Flashpoint, so that was what they walked away from the lawsuit. So there's a lot of drama, and apparently the team split in two. So I don't know if certain developers went one way, other developers went another way. Okay, but around the time that Arma 2 came out in 2009, this game came out, Operation Flashpoint Dragon Rising, and essentially it takes place. It's a Chinese, American, and Russian conflict. So Russia asked the U.S. for assistance. There was some oil that was discovered on this island. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few things. We'll go through the graphics. We'll talk about sound. We'll go through smoothness of controls. Then we'll talk about the artificial intelligence, and finally we'll talk about performance. Okay, so let me start with just basic graphics and controls. Or actually, let me start with controls. So as you can see here, the movement is quite realistic. It's not a true first-person view like in Arma where you can see your feet. Like most titles don't even have that, but it's really nice to have. And immediately, let me talk a tiny bit about my AI. Well, first of all, let me do a disclaimer. This game gets a lot of bad reviews, not necessarily from the big game reviewers out there, but more so from the Arma community. And it's almost like kind of a fanboy culture. And I got to admit, when I got this game for the Xbox in 2009, I was an Arma fanboy for sure. And I wanted to defend it, and I wanted to talk about how bad this was. And I started playing it, and then I realized there was a lot of things that you could complain about, but for some reason it was very addicting, and I wanted to keep playing it. And eventually I stopped and switched over to Arma because the content was so much more for Arma. So I wanted this game was on sale on Steam recently, and it's usually only about $7, but now it was like $2.50. And so I wanted to give it a second chance, because it's pretty cheap, and I was like, let me just try it out and compare it to like Arma 3, and I've played a lot of Arma and analyzed the AI and kind of the graphics and the performance and everything. So I was like, let me give this a fair shot. So right off the bat, it reminds me of kind of a combination between Ghost Recon AI. So as you can see, if I stand up, these guys stand up. If I crouch, they crouch. And if I go in the prone, they'll go in the prone. Okay. Now it also reminds me of Brothers in Arms interface. So let's say I want them to come over here. I press my interface. I select all my team. It's pretty intuitive. You can see this little dialogue comes up. And there's a few things that you can do. I can tell them to move somewhere, which I'll tell them to move there.
Grid 2, 1, Oscar, X-ray, 8, Yankee, 1.
And you can see that they've crouched and actually moved to that position. Now, if I crouch, or if I go prone, they're independent from me because they're kind of their own unit. They're doing their own thing. So that unit leader is going to dictate, I think, for the most part, the stance. Okay. Now, I'd like you to observe something else. So right off the bat, they follow you really, really well.
Follow me.
If I tell them to follow me, they get right back in formation, and within a few short steps, we're back in formation, and we're doing fine. So let me tell them to change formation. This is something that Arma sometimes struggles with. Your guys will get lost, or they just, they'll be in the wrong formation. Let's do a column. So look how quickly they respond to that. Now, if I move forward, we're in a nice kind of laterally staggered column. And they stick with you exactly like Ghost Recon. If you move, they move. If you stop, you stop. Now, what you see in Arma a lot of times is you'll move, and they're kind of doing their own thing. They're pretty independent. Whereas in Ghost Recon, they're glued to you. Brothers in Arms has a great interface, so I'll tell them to move there.
2, 1, Oscar, X-ray, 8, Yankee, 2.
You can see they're kind of in a stealthy mode. Another thing you tell them is their rules of engagement. So I'll go tactical, and then I'll go rules of engagement, and I'm going to tell them to only fire on my lead.
On my lead. Affirmative.
Now you'll notice that there's a few other choices here. Fire at will, of course, they can engage. Return fire means only if they're being engaged, they should return fire. If you use that, I'm trying to think of scenarios in Arma where you'll tell them to hold fire, and sometimes they'll just open fire. If for whatever reason that escapes me. In this game, or sim, if you tell them to return fire, they will only fire if they're getting engaged or if another friendly force is getting engaged. So if I'm over there somewhere and I'm getting engaged by forces up here, then they'll return fire. So the point that I like to make about the AI is that they do obey your orders. Now, it got a lot of criticism. It said, the AI is pretty dumb and all this stuff. So let me talk about some mods that I'm using. I am using the Operation Flashpoint Dragon Rising. It's called the Singleplayer Overhaul mod 2.0. And if you go on ModDB, it's pretty much the biggest mod that you can find. It's only like 60 megabytes, but it expands to like 400 megabytes of over 300 and something single-player missions, and I think it's like 6 or 7 campaigns. So it really opens up the single-player experience. What I found, despite a lot of reviews that you'll see, is that the AI, a lot of people will call the AI dumb, but if you compare it to other games, they're actually really, really smart. And if you compare them to Arma's AI, they are excellent. A lot like Ghost Recon, like I said before. So one of the complaints of Arma is the whole interface thing. So I'll show you a couple of ways that you can interact with your environment. There is an interaction button, and all I have to do is go up to like this ammo crate, and then I can select whatever weapons that I want. You are allowed to carry two primaries and 1 secondary. So kind of like in Arma when you use the Ace mod for Arma Operation Arrowhead, where you can put a rifle on your back with the strap, and then you can carry a main weapon as well. So that's pretty cool. And then you can change weapons with either the keyboard or the mouse scroll wheel. The other thing that you can do with interaction is you can jump over things. So I want to show you, the animations are a little wonky, but I will say that the Arma 3 animations are far superior. Now, you got to think, I'm comparing a game that was made in 2009 with a game that was released years later and has been extensively developed, Arma 3. But this interaction thing, when you come up to an obstacle, you don't have to press some weird jump key. You just press this, and he'll actually vault over the obstacle. And that's a lot like Redrick's mod for Brothers in Arms. So that's pretty cool. So, two main complaints of Arma: no interaction key, which Ace hopefully has fixed. This is very intuitive. You can open doors with it. You can pick up ammo. You can search somebody's body. It's all-inclusive interaction key. All right, so let's get on with the mission, and I'll tell my guys to go tactical. I want them to do a combat spread.
Affirmative.
which it seems like they are already, and I'll tell them to go ahead and follow me.
Affirmative.
And they're going to be in that column that I asked them to be. So let's change them over to a wedge formation. All right. So right now they should only fire when I fire, unless they're in a dangerous situation. And they should stick with me. A lot of times in armor, you guys are following you and they get lost, they get left behind, and then you tell them to come back to you, and it's like not going to happen. Like they just can't find you, they can't come back to you. In this game, you can pretty much tell them to go anywhere. So right now, I'll show you the map real quick. We're on this island of this little tiny island of Shrinka, and our mission is to take out. And you can see how big this is. The kilometers. That's a 1 kilometer thing on the bottom right-hand corner. You can see it. This island is about 2 kilometers by like maybe 1 kilometer wide, and there's a main road that goes up. But what I'd like you to see is the rest of it. Now this is huge. This island is 270 kilometers squared by 270 kilometers squared. I want you to think of another Milsim that has the same size map. And if you're thinking Arma 3 Altis, you're right. This has the same size dimensions as Altis. Alright, now think about this. This was created in 2009, and roughly it's about 100 kilometers squared, or 10 miles by 10 miles, if you want to think about it that way. Altis has the same dimensions, and this is rendering at 60 frames per second. No matter what I try to do, I cannot get anything lower than 60 frames per second. Or maybe it'll drop down to 59, 58, but it is smooth as butter. So think about this. This engine, Codemasters was able to optimize it enough to run on a console, which is the Xbox and I think PlayStation, and it's running at 60 frames per second. Alright, now it doesn't have the huge cities and villages and stuff like that, but it does have some buildings. It's not as dense as Altis, so I'll give you that. So some of the common complaints of Arma are, well, it's rendering this huge island and it's got, very complicated AI. So, and you can select individual members. So that's why it's not running, ideally. That's why you get low frames per second. But the reality is this is doing it in 2009. The graphics are probably comparable to Arma 2. I would say it's a little bit better.
Defensive position while Saber 1 and 3 are inserted. How copy? Over.
We'll hold LZ until you give us the all clear.
Alright, so I just told my guy to suppress, and look at the rounds cascading off there. So I'll give you a closer look. It's a lot like Brothers in Arms, and you tell your guys to suppress, and they're going to suppress. They're going to lay down that... Oh, jeez. They're going to lay down that fire and keep the enemy's heads down. So that's pretty cool. Now, in the original game, when you give them that suppress command, sometimes they would...
Saber 2, this is Saber. Saber 1 and 3 are on the ground. You are cleared to proceed to your first objective. Saber out.
In the vanilla game, at least for Xbox, I remember they would really struggle with that. This has been patched to 1.03, so I don't know if the developers kind of help that, or...
2. Suppressive fire.
Affirmative.
Or if, it was fixed by the AI mod. But they basically stopped suppressing because I think the threat's gone. Yeah, there he is. Oh, never mind.
Follow me.
Affirmative.
Now, the enemy, they do get wounded and they will squirm around if they're just kind of incapacitated. So it's not like they're down. They could still be, alive. And you come up to them and you realize that they're moving. So tell my guys to form up on me. And I'll show you the map here real quick. So immediately, your guys are very good about not getting stuck somewhere, not getting stuck behind a rock or something like that. They're very good at pathfinding, and they'll find you. So we're back in formation again. Alright, so we're coming up on this hill. We need to take out a radio radar, a little mini radar station. And then we got to go support another team that's attacking a village. I'll show you on the map here. So here's a bunch of bad guys on the...
Saber, this is Saber 2. We have eyes on radar array. Out.
Saber 2, this is Saber. Copy that.
Reloading!
You can see, I don't have to tell them to engage. They're throwing down fire because they spotted an enemy. So they're smart enough to do that. And so that's why it's kind of a combination between Ghost Recon, Brothers in Arms with the interface, and then, you know, and then some Arma as well. Alright, so you can see this guy here. Trying to think of where my support gunner is. Let's tell...
2, move, grid, 2, 1.
There you go.
X-ray, 6, Yankee, 4. On my way.
And I'll tell number 4 to follow me.
4, follow me. Affirmative.
Alright, so I'm going to split my team up in 2. This guy's going to be just kind of watching us, and we're gonna flank around. So there he is with the sandbags. He's not going anywhere. He's covering our sectors. We're going to take the right flank and make sure this area is clear. This is a very popular mission, Mission 1, because it's pretty open world. You have your objectives, but for the most part, you're free to roam after you complete the primary objectives. You also have a flashlight, which is really cool. Now, the CQB in this isn't spectacular. I'll show you more of that later. It's pretty dumbed down. The buildings are really tiny, and the movement dynamics don't really suit close quarters battle. So Arma 3 is definitely superior in that regard. It's still a tiny bit clunky, but it's far improved from Arma 2, what they've done with Arma 3.
Get clear.
Okay, so I just set some C4 down, and here's the radar array that we need to take out. I'll move back up to the hillside. So with explosives and things like that, you know, a lot of times we need ACE or some mod for it to be practical and effective. And this game does it pretty well. It doesn't have like breaching charges or, to my knowledge, flashbangs or anything like that. But you know, the charges work.
Saber, this is Saber 2. Target is eliminated.
And the effects are really, really cool.
Saber 2, this is Saber. Outstanding. Hold position and provide overwatch on village. Out.
Alright, so this team over here is attacking them. They're kind of distracting them.
Saber 2, this is Saber. Fleet is now in range. The fleet's main guns are at your disposal. Call it in. Over.
Saber, this is Saber 2. Copy that. Stand by. Out.
So we have the capability of ordering an airstrike. You can see my guy
AT gunner,
engaging guys.
meters, southeast.
Alright.
Jeep, support gunner, 300 meters, south.
I'm going to call in some artillery,
Standing.
high explosive,
300 meters,
and I'm going to do it
southeast.
scattered. Fire for
Fire
effect.
mission. Grid 2, 1. Rifleman, 300 meters, southeast.
So you can see these guys are embedded in the town, and they're attacking that distraction team up here on the hill, I guess, somewhere. Oh, there's some good guys right there. Or those might be bad guys.
Jeep, 300 meters, south.
So those are some awesome looking effects, and the sounds are really, really good as far as the environment, the sounds, the wind sounds, explosions, simulating distance.
AT gunner, 4.
Jeep, 200 meters, southeast.
Now we're getting engaged. Oh, there they are, right there. Pretty sure that fire was. I don't want to hit friendlies, so. Yeah, they wiped out that team.
Four. Suppressive fire.
Affirmative.
So I want you to see that guy just laid down.
AT gunner, 300
There's a guy right there. I just shot at him,
southeast.
and he laid down. So notice how he goes straight into the prone. I just got shot. Oh, God, that guy just got shot in the head. So it's realistic if you get shot in the head. I am using the AI balance mod. So if you get shot in the head, you're done. And if you get shot twice in your torso, you're going to be either incapacitated or you're going to be dead. So...
Contact. Support gunner, 300 meters.
Jeep, 300 meters.
Suppressive fire.
Affirmative.
Actually, I'm going to tell my guys to follow me here.
Affirmative.
Alright, that kind of sucks. I lost that guy. But the suppression system works. You can see that we were laying down some fire on that individual, and he went down into the prone.
Jeep, 200 meters. Southeast.
And you'll see guys take cover a lot of times if they're being suppressed. So the suppression system is built in, and it actually works. That's pretty cool. Compared to Arma, the suppression is really finicky and wonky. If you're using TPW CAS mod, the combat like suppression system, it tends to work out decently well. But if you're just using vanilla AI, suppression is almost non-existent in regular Arma. So you'll notice that these guys, if they're getting lightly suppressed, they'll go crouch and they'll immediately find cover. So just think Ghost Recon AI and how they will go behind a tree, or they'll go behind a sandbag, or they'll go behind a house. And then if they're being heavily suppressed by like a 50 caliber gun or a Shoka or something, then they're going to go almost immediately into the prone, like an APC
Contact.
or something.
Rifleman,
Jeez.
100 meters east.
Now you can hear the sounds of the bullets hitting the ground. You'll also get like dirt effects on your screen. So just think Brothers in Arms, as far as the sounds and the
Jeep, 300 meters.
the dirt effects, and that's pretty much what you get in this.
Contact.
And that's all vanilla.
Rifleman, 100 meters northeast.
Now you can hear him calling out different contacts.
Contact. AT gunner, 200 meters east.
Some people, still get annoyed by that, so you can turn down the voice volume essentially. But I think the voice acting is decently well done. It's certainly better than Arma 2. Arma 3, they've really
Contact.
improved that.
Rifleman, 100 meters northeast. Target rifleman is eliminated.
You could barely see that guy.
Contact. AT gunner, 100 meters northeast.
Now notice, I was engaging that guy. He immediately went behind that building, and he's crouched. Now he's in a full sprint, and he's just trying to get behind something. So essentially, he's flanking left on us, and he's going to try to come behind this this building. He knows where we are. Here's another guy who's supporting him. So let's move up and try to counter his flank. Hopefully we can catch him. I'm going to reload real quick.
Reloading. He's eliminated.
Jeez. So you can see that
Contact. AT gunner, 45 meters north. I'm hit. Damn.
let's retreat a little bit here. And it is a lot in how you play it.
Contact. 100 meters north.
Reloading.
Jeez.
Contact. AT gunner, 100 meters east.
So the same, just like we're trying to suppress them and maneuver on them, they're doing the same exact thing on us. Let's disperse, guys.
Target support gunner is
100 meters northeast.
Keep moving, boys. I think there's a guy right here.
Northeast.
Grenade out.
Reloading.
Back up a little bit. And sometimes they do go into buildings, so you got to be careful. I'll show you the kick the door animation. Oh, there's a guy, I think, right there. You can see he laid down. Jeez.
100 meters east.
Oh my god. So now they're closing in on us. They're trying to maneuver. They know we're in this building. Another guy over there. So now we're in a heavy firefight, close contact. Now he's prone. And that's because he's suppressed. Alright, so let's move left on these guys. I'm going to tell my guys to move fast over there.
Fast. Grid 2, 1, Oscar, X-ray.
And while they're
6,
moving...
Yankee,
Oh, jeez.
6.
Sometimes they do run in front of you.
Contact! AT gunner, 50 meters east.
When they're set, I'll move. I've played this scenario a few times now, and it's different every single time. Sometimes your mortar rounds, you'll get lucky and you'll kill a bunch of them. And sometimes you'll get in this house-to-house fighting. Another time I came up the middle through the road, I had to take out those two gunners at the bunkers there. They're running some heavy fixed machine guns there, so you kind of move down this hill and you're able to take them out on their sides, and then you can kind of move up through the village. So that seemed to work pretty good. In this scenario, I tried just a right flanking maneuver on the town here. So they're shooting at that Jeep down there. Alright, so that was intense. You can see that these guys are dynamic. They're believable. They're shooting and moving. They're communicating. If you get close to them, you'll hear them start talking in Chinese and calling out your positions, calling out enemies, stating distances. Exactly like what our guys do. Talking about enemy infantryman or AT gunner, 200 meters, whatever the case may be. The Chinese will do that as well. It reminds me of the Ace voice dubbing mod, where you'll hear them say different things. So, all in all, you could see that we use proper tactics, a lot of fire and maneuver tactics, and it was effective. So, this sim can be very frustrating, and I remember when I first played it, the enemy AI were actually really, really difficult. And looking back on it, I was really frustrated because I couldn't see anything, and oh my god.
Saber 2, this is Saber. Be advised. Trident is inbound to LZ now. Out.
I'm out of rounds here. Jeez, still some enemies out there. I was really frustrated because I could barely see enemies and I was always getting killed. And back in 2009, I had some tactics from Ghost Recon, but really I'm out of rounds completely. There's a Jeep up there, and it's not going to be good if he finds us. Let's try to close the distance on him in case he has a heavy machine gun. Oh god. I should have went really slow up that hill, but alright guys, so I'm back, and I'll talk a little bit about hardcore mode in this. So I was playing with hardcore mode. There was no crosshair, no type of HUD interface, except if you're initializing something. And right now we're just past the village, so taking out everything in the village, and we commandeered a Jeep, and we're able to use that to move up here. I'll tell my guys to follow me.
Affirmative.
Trying to get away from this helicopter noise. Alright, so in hardcore mode, actually let's tell my guy to repair this.
That vehicle.
Affirmative.
So kind of like in Arma where you can repair vehicles, sometimes it's limited by class, like you have to be like an engineer or something. Ace had a lot of features like that. You can't change tires in this, but you can repair vehicles. It's just a very basic system. So I'm going to get in as a driver. I'll tell the guys to mount the vehicle. Now, classic Operation Flashpoint style, there's no animation for getting in vehicles. It's just kind of, you're in. I'm going to try to get away from that helicopter noise for a bit here. This is going to be probably a longer video because there's a lot to cover, a lot of things to discuss. I'm just going to park it up here on the hillside. Whoa, just hit a rock. The physics behind this aren't bad. They're definitely nowhere near Arma 3, but you can see like I'm moving in hilly terrain and the vehicle shocks are responding. Back up a little bit here.
Follow me.
Tell my guys to follow me. They get out of the vehicle, and I'll change their artery to
Fire on
firearm
my lead.
or
Affirmative.
return fire.
Affirmative.
Alright guys, let's huddle up here. So on hardcore mode it's kind of difficult because the big thing is there's no save checkpoints and you can't quick save. So you know what happen is you'll start a mission, you'll do all this work, and then you'll have to start all over again. But experience mode does have a crosshair. Easy normal mode has a crosshair as well, along with the compass on the top of the screen. And you can see the number 3 there. That's our third objective. And then we have, our first objective. So there's various objectives that we have to complete, and it highlights that. It's very similar to what Arma does, where it puts a marker out in the world. And if you have it in normal mode, it'll give you a marker, and it'll tell you what that objective is on the actual world itself. So some of my dislikes, I really don't like this crosshair. I really wish you can customize your HUD like you can with, or I think Ghost Recon or Arma. You can really customize it. I don't like it. I wish it was like a dot or non-existent. So that's why I use hardcore mode sometimes. But when you use hardcore mode, you don't have your quick saves, and again, you have to like start all over again. What is that? Oh, looks like some friendlies have commandeered that vehicle, I guess. They're just driving up the road. Alright. Now, there's 2 mods for, Jesus.
Southwest.
Suppress.
There is a medical system in this, and it's pretty basic. You just apply field dressing. There's no animation or anything like that, but you can see on the lower left-hand corner, that's your blood supply. There's like a little red circle, and the yellow part in your body is where you get hit. So I got hit in the chest plate, obviously, and basically you're bleeding out, so you need to patch yourself up. Now there is a system where your medic can also
Medic.
you can call a medic, and it's extremely cheesy. He injects you with a syringe, which is completely corny, but
Wound treated.
if you compare it to like Arma, there's animations there, and you're lying on the floor, and it looks like the guy's bandaging you up and things like that. And then you have the more complicated things like Ace, where you can inject somebody with morphine and you can bandage them up. So it is a corny animation, but don't dismiss it because it's kind of wonky looking or corny looking. Because Arma does the same thing, it just does it a little bit nicer, you know, and it's not even that good. Because in Arma, the guy's hands don't even touch you; they're just kind of moving. So it's pretty much the same medical system in that. Oh God! So we kind of stayed here. The enemy found us. I'm gonna get a 2 or 3 on there if I have one. Yep. Hopefully he's down. Oh, there he is, right there.
Target, rifleman, is eliminated. Follow me.
Affirmative.
Man, we keep getting in firefights, so we kind of just, we're camping out here, and of course the enemy finds us.
Follow me.
Affirmative.
Alright. So the medical system, you know, it's whatever, you know, same thing in Arma. If you get injured, vanilla, you can heal yourself, and you just get some weird animation. And then if you're using Ace or something, they can patch you up. It's a lot more realistic. You know, they'll give you CPR. They have to stop your bleeding with bandages in Ace, and then they have to, you know, sometimes give you epi to start your heart again if it stops. Check your blood pressure, and you know, kind of restore your health that way. But the bottom line is that you can be restored to 100% health in Arma as well as in this. It's just not as glamorous in this. All right. So let me talk a little bit. So I talked about AI, and I'm really impressed with the AI. I've been looking for something similar to Arma, and that's when I decided to revisit this. And the two main things that stand out are, number one, the artificial intelligence are pretty smart, and they behave a lot like Ghost Recon Brothers in Arms. Number two, the big takeaway from this video is the performance. This entire time I'm monitoring my frames per second, and they have not dropped below 60. Now, I have them locked at 60, so that means potentially, you know, you can get a lot more. So my theory with this is that Codemasters needed to make this for console, so they were forced to optimize it. Unlike Arma or Bohemia Interactive, which they don't, you know, they don't necessarily have to optimize it all the way. They just keep bringing us content and content. You know, and I think they do try to make improvements, but it almost seems like there's something fundamentally wrong with the engine. There's some leak or memory leak. I don't know what's going on. You know, maybe it's not a memory leak, but there's something foundationally wrong with how the game processes things. So when I compare it to this, and yeah, we're on this little island, but the game engine can render this entire island. So like if you jumped in a helicopter and you started flying here, you would see this entire island. In fact, there's a single mission that's island tour, and that's exactly what you do. You just jump in a helicopter I think on the base here, and you can fly around the entire island, and it will render it in 60 frames per second the entire time. So again, it's more fair to compare this to Arma 2 that was created in 2009, because that's really its brother. But I'm comparing it to Arma 3 because it's the same size map, and it's just crazy to me that Codemasters was able to optimize this engine to the point where you get amazing performance. Now look around, look at the vegetation, look at this amount of grass. You know, it is generated as you approach it, but it's dense, and you really, I mean, it's even denser than Arma 2's grass, and I think even Arma 3's grass. And then you have these trees and everything. So the graphics, you know, they're not amazing. I think Arma 2 looks better than this, but it brings me to what I was talking about in my last Ghost Recon video. Do we try to throw so much graphics and so much eye candy at the cost of performance? And should the focus of a military simulator be, you know, how good looking it is, or should performance be a higher priority than it looking good. And I think performance should be the higher priority. And this game demonstrates that. Now, it doesn't look bad. It's just amazing that it's able to pull this off. I really like, when I started testing this on PC, I was blown away. When I played it on the Xbox, it did stutter sometimes. Had some issues, but for the most part, it ran decently smooth. It wasn't like horrible, but on a modern system on PC, this thing is just rocking. When the artillery went off in the town, a lot of times in Arma, the smoke goes up and your frames just drop. I was on the US SOCOM server recently, and at a certain point we dropped down into the single digits, you know. So, and you could argue, well, you're not in multiplayer right now. Well, that's true, but even in single player, a lot of times in Arma, I'm getting like an average of 30 to 40 frames per second, and that's with a decent system, you know. So I don't know how Codemasters was able to pull this off, but it really is amazing that it's the same size map as Arma, and you get amazing performance. Okay, so that's all the talking points that I really wanted. So let's proceed into the rest of the mission here. We'll jump in this vehicle, and we'll tell all the guys to mount. They're really good about listening to you, just mounting the vehicle. Never really had any problems with that. Alright, so there's a couple more objectives, and if I look at them, we have to destroy some surface-to-air missile sites and a sunburn anti-ship system. And this is in preparation for the Marines to land. So what we're going to do is head over to the waypoint 3 here, and I'll give a move order.
Oh, grid 2-1 November X-ray 5 Yankee 1 on my way.
And you can see it pops up on the screen there. So, all in all, you know, this is certainly not as polished as Arma. And some people think it's slightly unfinished. ROE, return fire only.
Affirmative.
I like how their voices, kind of like in Arma 3, where their voices kind of go down to a whisper, quiet down when you're in a stealth mode, rather than just screaming. And then when you go into combat, they just start yelling for their life. Alright, so there's the facility. We're going to get some eyes on with our binoculars. And there's a bunker. We're looking for the anti-ship missile system here, so I'm going to try to take the high ground. Maybe I'll split my team up in two. And so you're just a small Marine Corps
Rifleman 200 meters north.
Special Operations Command. So you're MARSOC operators, and you're doing these pre-invasion missions where you got to clear the way for helicopters to come in and amphibious landing ships to come in, things like that. So we're in the very early stages, tip of the spear of the operation. Later on, Marines are going to land on the beach, and we want to make sure that these defenses are clear so the vehicles can get in.
Rifleman 100 meters.
Alright, take fire ready. Alright, so let's use the terrain for cover on our left here. Come on, guys, stay with me. I'm gonna do a column. So my guys are suppressed. You can see them crawling until they use the terrain to mask them, essentially. All right, you know what?
Contact! Rifleman 100 meters northwest.
Oops. Trying to get the 2 or 3 out. Oh, I'm out.
Contact! Rifleman 100 meters northwest.
Jeez. Alright guys, back in formation here. Trying to keep using the terrain as cover here. Alright, so they got that last guy.
Contact. Rifleman, 25 meters, north.
Jeez. No!
Affirmative!
Oh, that's brutal.
Rifleman, 100 meters, north.
Alright guys, so I brought in a commandeered enemy gun car, or technical, with us, just to give us a little bit of heavier firepower. So it'll enable us, hopefully enable us to maneuver a little bit better.
100 meters northwest.
Contact, rifleman, 100 meters, northwest. Target, support gunner, is eliminated.
Jeez. Man, this is a tough fight.
Contact! Rifleman, 25 meters, west. I'm hit!
Not seeing that guy at all. So your friendly AI are really good about picking up...
Reloading!
Jeez, bro. Picking up contacts. Alright. He's throwing a grenade. Just on his own initiative. That's pretty sweet. Nice. Killed that guy. Couldn't even see him. He must have been prone in the grass. Alright, so there's my number 2 guy. I'll keep him on the gun truck. And I'll just kind of send my guys up here. Or you know what? I'll show you another cool thing is when they can actually assault buildings. So all I got to do is select who I want and tell them to assault it.
Position.
Affirmative.
And they'll go ahead and do that. I'll check it from the window real quick.
Enter that position.
Affirmative.
Oh, he's waiting for his buddy to get there before he actually goes in. I
Go,
think.
go, go.
There he goes. So you can see it's
Building
nothing,
clear.
nothing like amazing by any means. It'd be nice if, you know, he entered, went right. If the next guy went left, you know, next guy, you know, kind of goes here in the middle, and they did a proper tactical entry. But just the fact that you have the capability of doing that, you know, is pretty cool. And an Arma, you know, just to be perfectly fair, you can also tell your guys to enter buildings.
Affirmative.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep him in
Enter
there,
that position.
Affirmative.
and we're going to take
Go,
out this
go, go.
sunburn.
Building clear.
So we'll throw a C4 charge down here, and I'll back up from this thing. Hopefully it'll give me a quick save here. Jeez.
Sunburn launcher is neutralized. Over.
Saber 2, this is Saber. Copy that. Either continue to recon in force or fall back to LZ for extraction. Saber out.
And you do get secondaries, as you can see there. Yep, it's giving me a quick save, so that's great. So one of the things, you know, the effects in Arma versus here, I've noticed a lot, especially in Arma 2. Arma 3 seems to have improved on this, but whenever there's like a large amount of smoke and fire and just flash effects, the FPS really drops. And it seems like they've really optimized this to where you don't even notice a hit. And I really like that. I really like that they took care and time to optimize everything and to make it workable. So there's a crate here. I'm gonna go ahead and restock on ammo because I'm out on the March 16. I'm out of rounds. It'd be nice if you could pick up rounds from your teammates like you can in Brothers in Arms Redrix mod, but it's all right. All Alright, so I was wrong. I actually have the... There's two main mods that come with the Overhaul 2.0 mod. If you look inside the folders, there's the Improved AI mod, which is also known as the Better AI mod, and then there's the Ultimate AI mod. So I think I tried uninstalling it, but apparently I still have the Ultimate AI mod. And what happens is, it's kind of like GL4 or GL5. If you've seen my reviews on that, essentially it makes the enemies a lot more dynamic and a lot more dangerous. I think, you know, they'll stay in cover longer. They will flank you more effectively. There's just a lot more movement and realism to them. So this team right here is not part of our 4-man MARSOC team. They actually, according to the mission scripting, they were supposed to be all the way back here holding this village down. But because I'm using Ultimate AI, they actually commandeered a vehicle on their own accord, jumped in it, and basically went up this road and followed us all the way up here to the to this point. So we found them in this vehicle, and they're just what they're doing is that they're hearing distant gunfire, and then they're responding to that. So it's kind of cool to see a AI mod that it doesn't break the missions, not in the sense like Armin's missions can be broken by GL4, but they are able to be free and free roam. They're able to do whatever they want. So talking about free roaming, the first mission is really the only one in the campaign, in the default campaign, where you really have true freedom to go all over this island and pursue these objectives or not pursue them. So if you don't want to take out the Sunburn missile launcher, it's just too hot, you can say, you know what, we're not going to do that. The only objectives that you have to clear are the town and the radar stations. Once you do that, you can actually jump in your Seahawk and get out, and you're done. But if you want to take the extra initiative and take some of these other sites out, you can. So one of the main criticisms is that, well, Dragon Rising isn't really free roaming. Every other mission after the first mission, there's time. Usually there's some sort of time limit where you need to destroy the SAM site or AAA site, or you need to get to this point before a certain time, and that's because the invasion's happening. So a lot of the rest of the campaign feels really rushed, and you're always like, you complete an objective and then you immediately have to go to another one. So I don't know, I guess it's kind of like Arma in the in the Cold War Crisis campaign, where you do have objective after objective, but in this one it seems rushed and just doesn't seem like you have the freedom of movement. But the island is available to you. So there's a mod called Shikra 2.8, which comes with the single-player Overhaul, and what it does is you basically get on a Zodiac, you assault this beachhead or something like that, or actually this beach here. You take the town, and this is your base of operations, and then you pursue multiple points on the island. So there'll be like different objectives that you have to take out. The first one is the airfield, and you just keep going and pushing your forces east through the island until you capture the entire thing. And after you capture an objective, or every certain so often, it'll save those points. So I've never seen that done in Arma or Arma 3, where even in the Arma campaign, when you're actually you go mission by mission, so you're magically transported to a different location, and then you have your next mission. But in the Shikra 2.8 campaign, which you can play, it's just quick saves, and then you move on to the next objective. So all your ammo, your enemies, the friendlies that have been killed or not, all of that is alive in it. So it's kind of like I guess the closest representation would be like Zeus. Alright, we're going to get back in this vehicle, and we're going to keep reconning. Alright guys, so the next objective is going to be this area right here. There's a SAM launcher that we're going to take out. And there's a little kind of air-walled area. There's some ammo crates. You can restock on ammo. So we'll go out there and do that. Alright guys, so here we are.
Follow me! Affirmative!
And I've explored this before, so I know that there's an ammo crate here. I'm going to pick up this marksman. And I should get ammo for this thing as well. There we go. Alright, so basically in this one there's a SAM launcher that we need to take out, and they're pretty much going to see us as we crest this hill. Let's take the binos out. So you can see that my guys, I've ordered them to only return fire, and even if they see targets,
Rifleman, 200 meters northwest.
they're not going to engage them until I give them the go-ahead. So there's a bunker right there, which I really don't like, so I don't want to come down this hill. There's another one. Oh, that guy's climbing the wall. That's cool. I'm not sure why they're moving around right now, but I guess they're trying to get behind cover. That's what they're doing. They notice that there's an enemy, and they're trying to get behind that cover. All right, dude. All right, so there's a SAM launcher. There's a bunker there, and there's a bunker on the right hand. I don't know if somebody's manning that one. I can't really tell. And you can see it's getting darker. The moon's starting to come out, and this mission was late it goes late into the evening. And there, I think right over there is the main. Yeah, that's right. That is the main island right there. And if we wanted to, in this mission, it'll actually turn you around if you try to go over there, but because it's completely outside of the mission boundaries, which I don't like. I wish you could just go anywhere, you know. But like I said, in Secret 2.8, you can go anywhere on the island and just complete objectives. All right, and there is a helicopter down there, so I want to show you some of those dynamics and how you can use vehicles in this. But before we do that, we got to take this area, and we're taking contact already.
Contact! Rifle! 100 meters! North! I'm hit! Damn! I'm hit!
Shouldn't even be here.
Contact!
Follow me!
I'm in trouble! Not hurt!
There they are. There's some cool ragdoll animations if they fall down hills and things like that.
Medic!
Jeez. Come on, guys. Get low.
Move! Grid 2, 0, November, X-ray, 9, Yankee, 2. 3's down!
Ah, great. Medic's out. Actually, I meant to... actually, this will work. So one thing I don't like about the normal and experienced difficulty levels, if you look at the compass up there, it'll tell you where targets are. And
Contact, Rifleman, 100 meters west.
And really, it's targets that your guy sees, and it's targets that your team sees. So, depending on how you look at it, you know, it definitely can be a cheat. I don't like using it as a crutch, and I wish you could disable it, but. I'm moving. Man, I don't like that 3-round burst. Alright, I'm going to hide behind this vehicle for a sec. See if my guys can move a little bit further.
Move! Grid! Contact! Rifleman! 0 meters west.
Contact, Rifleman. 100 meters southwest.
So you kind of had the same idea that I did.
Target,
Using
support
this
gunner is
vehicle for
eliminated.
cover. And luckily he reloaded at an opportune time.
Contact! Rifleman. 100 meters south.
Nobody's in that bunker. Okay, must have got that guy at some point. Alright, I'm going to tell my guys to move
Move. Fast. Grid 2-0. November. X-ray 7. Yankee.
Contact! Rifleman, 100 meters, south.
Not seeing him. I think in experience mode it might actually hinder the AI identification markers, those red markers on the compass. Maybe if you don't see them personally. I'm not really sure. Okay, those are my guys. Cool. I think we're good. All right, boys.
Follow me.
Affirmative.
Worried about that bunker right there. We're really all over this place. They could be anywhere. Let's check the beach real quick. So, you know, this does reward proper tactics, and I think every time I've been killed, you know, it's frustrating when you get killed, obviously, but I haven't been mad at the game. It's not like it did something wrong where I had to pay for it, you know, or something.
Enter that position. Affirmative.
The big complaint is the movement is kind of clunky. You know, I wish it was a lot more like Arma 3 or something like that, or even Ghost Recon.
Building clear.
Clear. You know, but aside from that, I've never really been mad at the game when I've died, because the enemy has been using, you know, tactics. They've flanked me, they suppressed me. You know, I was out in the open. There's always reasons why you get killed in this, and it's not really the game's fault. So a lot of times with Arma, I mean, there are a lot of times where I'm really frustrated with it because of, you know, the scroll menu, and you're trying to access something and you just can't do it, etc.
This is Saber 2. SAM site is eliminated. Out.
Saber 2, this is Saber. Copy that. Either continue to recon in force or fall back to LZ for extraction. Saber out.
Alright. And we got a quick save there too, so that's sweet. Another thing in this is that you can go down really steep slopes, and it's completely not. And you can go up them and down them, and it's really not realistic whatsoever. Like, there's no reason that we should be able to go up a slope this steep. You can basically go up cliffs. So that's a first-person shooter type of dynamic, you know, and I really don't like that. So, but there's very few things that I don't like. The customizable HUD, the crosshair, and you know, going up the slopes. One thing, remember I told you about the interface. You can basically choose which one you want. So you put your little hand over what you want, and you'll get in that spot, or sometimes you will. But it's cool that you have that option available. So what I'm going to do is actually go over to the Copilot, and my guys are already in. I just want to show you how the movement works. So as a Copilot, you know, your guys piloting, I know this isn't realistic, we don't have a dedicated pilot or whatever, it's just for demonstration purposes. Let's say we wanted to, I'm just going to move them over here on the, or actually, I'm going to move them up here to this little tiny clearing area. I'll tell them to move and land.
Oh, grid 2-0.
And I just want you to see how smooth this operation is.
On my way.
He does some really intense banking maneuvers, but for the most part, like, this is in the middle of some trees here, and if you get close to a tree, you will crash into it. You know, obviously, if you get shot down, you're going to crash, but for the most part, they do a really good job of getting you where you need to go, and it's very smooth and very nice. So even though this is uneven terrain, you know, he was able to get it down fairly quickly.
Fire on my lead. Affirmative.
So I just wanted to demonstrate that is possible, and they're able to land in some very weird spots effectively. which is really nice. Yeah, well, I remember I was on the US SOCOM server, and we have a helo insert extract script, which is very common since Arma 2. And there's so many times since Arma 2 where you tell the helo to go somewhere, and it flies there fine, and then it does this crazy break where it gains like 200 meters in altitude, and then it just slowly descends all the way down to your landing zone, and you're getting shot at the whole time. So that hasn't changed. I don't know what the deal is with that, but you know, if Codemasters can do it and can make it effective, then I'm certain that Bohemia Interactive can as well. All right, so we're going to keep pushing up to the next objective. All right, so here we are running over to the next objective. I just want you to see it's getting darker now, and your guy does have stamina. So right now I've sprinted for a while, and he's completely exhausted, so he can't sprint anymore. You can hear him breathing heavily. So it's kind of nice to have a stamina system in this. All right, guys. So the last part of this mission is basically taking out the last missile launcher. I think there's a SAM site right there. You can see it, and the view distance in this is really, really good. Like, I don't know if it'll catch this far off mountain, but yeah, it's just too far away. But there's 622 meters. They actually pulled the terrain from an island off the coast of Alaska, and then they put a bunch of trees and made it look cool. But it's they wanted to use real world terrain, so it didn't look artificial like the features. They wanted it to be natural. The mountains, the hills, rocky shorelines and stuff. So they actually used the height map or the terrain mapping from a real location to recreate the entire island area. The island is halfway between Alaska and Russia, so it's right in the middle there. As we come up to this last target, there's a fortified position right there, and it's kind of a challenge to get by it. What I'll do is I'll set my 249 gunner right here.
Mike, X-ray 6, Yankee 3.
On my way. Cannot comply.
And I'll tell my guy to come with me down here. I'll try to sneak up on this thing. So there's about 4 guys right there, and then there's a roaming patrol that goes back and forth between the base and the sandbags here. This fortified position. So what I'll do is, this is kind of nerve-wracking because you know that these guys could open up on us at any time behind that fortified position. What I'll do is I'll tell my guy to start suppressing.
Suppressive fire.
Affirmative.
And we'll push up. Get their eyes on him. Reload a full clip here, or full magazine. Can't believe I said clip.
Rifleman, 100 meters, northeast.
Reloading. Reloading.
Jeez. Alright, we're going to come back here. Go to full auto. Now you can change weapons with your keyboard.
This is getting hardcore, man.
Support gunner, 100 meters.
Man, this is crazy. That guy's still suppressing back there. Oh my god!
Reloading.
Oh man. That's what I get for not paying attention. So I'm trying to narrate and play tactically at the same time. It's kind of difficult, so I apologize for that, guys. Alright, so I'm setting up my support guy again to get eyes on the bunker. Alright, we'll try this again.
2. Suppressive fire.
Affirmative.
Alright, we'll see how this goes. I'm kind of scared to do this now. It's a hard position to take. Wish we had a lot more guys, but we don't, so we got to deal with what we have.
Rifleman, 25 meters.
特别行动25米。
Contact. Rifleman, 25 meters west.
That's a suppression going on still. Not sure where that other guy went. You could hear him talking though. His rounds come close to us. I'm not sure where that guy is. Alright, I'm going to tell all of them to just follow
me.
Affirmative.
We'll see if this guy spots him on his way in. Whew, man. So you can see that guy with suppression, he was just laying down here. Because I think he knew there's really nothing else for him to do. He was just trying to get as low as possible on this.
Body found, one of theirs.
Alright, so I don't know where that other guy went. Maybe he got killed. Maybe he went down here somewhere. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I'm going to tell him to...
Fire on my lead.
Affirmative.
Let's do a tight
Tighten
spread.
Affirmative.
And we'll do a column
Column.
formation. Alright, so support gunner's almost here. Alright, so let's push to the last objective here. It's going to be over here to the north.
Saber, this is Saber 2. We have eyes on a strong defensive position at the lighthouse at the far north of the island. Do you copy? Over.
Saber 2, this is Saber. Copy that. You are cleared to engage. Saber out.
You do have night vision in this.
Contact! 100 meters north.
Jesus.
Target, rifleman, is eliminated. Suppressing fire.
Affirmative.
3, follow me.
Affirmative. Target, support gunner, is eliminated.
Reloading!
Reloading. Alright, so a lot of times you don't really need night vision because the moon's out. Alright, where's my, there we go. Alright, nice job, dude. Suppressing all these guys. Jeez. Oh, that's so nice. You can hear those rounds clinging off. Gotta be really careful here. There's a bunch of guys in this compound. Alright, so hopefully...
Rifleman, 100 meters, south.
Oh my god, where are these guys? Alright, dude, hold
Target,
fire.
AT gunner, is eliminated.
He's getting contact up the hill there. I don't want to really get close to his rounds, but... There we go.
AT gunner is eliminated.
APC, 100 meters, west.
Alright, so this guy, he's suppressed, so hopefully my gunner will take him out, but we gotta keep pushing into the village here. We'll see if number 4 can...
One, engage! APC, contact!
So he's gonna put together
Support
his,
gunner, 100 meters, south.
his AT gun there.
25 meters, southwest.
Oh, where is that guy? Oh, great.
Freeze down. This is getting hardcore, man.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure where that guy's.
Support gunner is eliminated.
Man, that was danger close. So a lot of times these guys use automatic fire, and they'll just overwhelm you at close range. So sometimes it's good to use automatic fire, just so you can suppress them and hopefully hit them at the same time. Get some hits on them, because they'll dump an entire magazine on you at close range. Alright, so stage 2. I'm glad I got my guy up there in the semi-overwatch position. There's an APC right there. I'm just going to try to get the C4 out. Oh my god. Come on.
SAM site is eliminated. Out.
Saber 2, this is Saber. Copy that. Either continue to recon in force or fall back to LZ for extraction. Saber out.
Cannot comply.
Alright. I'm afraid there's some guys in those houses, which there probably are. But what I'm going to try to do is, I hope I can pick up this guy's small, which I can. Cool. And I'll try to engage that APC. I'm going to assemble it here, because you do have to actually load the missile. And it's a really cool animation. I like it a lot. I'm going to try to sneak up here. Get eyes on it. There it is right there. Nice. Somebody moving around here? Somebody is definitely crawling through this field. Oh man. Or maybe they were crawling on the other side there. Alright guys, I know this has been a long video, but I hope this is a good demonstration of what Dragon Rising is like. And maybe you've played it on an Xbox, maybe it's been a while, but I just encourage you to pick it up on Steam. It's only, you know, $2.50 right now on sale. And just check it out, give it a second chance, especially with the Overhaul mod and some of the AI mods.
Board the vehicle. Affirmative.
Oh man, there's really limited movement on this. So the only last thing is to get to our extraction chopper. Just waiting for my 249 gun. Where you at, man? Oh, there he is. Just gonna try to cover him while he advances in case any dudes decide they want to come out of these buildings. Alright, so we're in the vehicle and we're just gonna drive all the way back.
X-ray, 8, Yankee, 2, on my way.
So I just gave him a movement, and you can see it's 2.1 kilometers away, the span of this tiny island. And the other island is like, you know, it's crazy, 10 miles. It's not 10 miles by 10 miles, but it's 100 miles squared, which is insane. And again, running at 60 frames per second the entire time, has not dropped from that whatsoever. By the way, it's also running on the highest settings, so everything's maxed out. Except for SMAA, I have it at 4x instead of 8x. My video card's a little bit older, so it kind of tends to perform better at 4x. Alright, 700 meters away now. And there's our Seahawk. There's our extract. You got to be careful with rocks, because if you hit them, it's no good.
Board the vehicle. Affirmative.
Alright, I promise guys that's going to be the longest mission and video ever for Dragon Rising. All these subsequent missions are pretty lengthy, but they're not anywhere near as long as this one.
Saber, this is Saber 2. We are RTB. Saber 2 out.
Saber 2, this is Saber. Capone Actual sends his congratulations on a job well done. We are now on track to launch the assault on Skira at daybreak tomorrow. Try and get some rest. Trust me, you're gonna need it.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I had a blast making it, so I'll see you guys in the next one.